In the centre of the old town, Edinburgh Castle sits atop the basalt cone of a long extinct volcano, the heart of the nation. This, the most visited castle in Scotland, is still guarded by soldiers, but it's now mainly tourists who storm the defiant rock. Northumbrian King Edwin commanded the castle to be built in the 7th century AD. The castle on the hill, Edinburgh. Over the centuries, the castle has been repeatedly destroyed and rebuilt. The National War Museum is housed within a former munitions store and displays unique ancient weaponry, uniforms, paintings, and regimental coats of arms. Scotland's military tradition of Highland soldiers from the 17th century until the present day. The castle was subject to a total of 13 attacks, and, including a time when Mary Stuart lived within its walls, defied a siege of almost 2 years. The Regimental Museum of the Royal Scots commemorates the oldest infantry regiment of the British Army, founded in 1633. Something to capture the attention. At precisely 1 o'clock each day, a cannon shot rings out. A daily tradition since June 1861. In the 15th century, the royal palace was built on the area's highest ground, an enclosed building complex around Crown Square. The Great Hall was completed in 1511 and served as the main location of all royal ceremonies. Close by are stored Scotland's crown jewels, which include the sceptre, crown and sword of state. The cannon of the Half Moon Battery and Four Wall Battery protected the highest plateau and surveyed the only access to the castle from which any possible attack could be made. The Royal Mile leads from the mighty fortress downwards, a sloping road from which narrow streets branch off, containing various buildings. These are only the upper floors of the up to 15-story first skyscrapers in Europe, whose underworld has now been closed. In the backyards are small museums, and disguised freedom fighters and proud war veterans accompany tourists on their way down towards the valley below. The Royal Mile divides into various sections with descriptive names. Thus, one is the Lawn Market, in which fine linen was sold, and the Grass Market, where for centuries a cattle market was held. St. Giles Cathedral is closely associated with Scottish history. This, one of the main churches of Presbyterianism, is named after the patron of the city. John Knox was pastor here and succeeded in making Presbyterianism Scotland's official religion. The late Gothic building mainly dates from the 15th century and impresses with its columns, blue ceiling, and colourful new glass windows. Its pipe organ is often heard, the sound reverberating across the many tombs, monuments, and dark grey walls of the cathedral. A true gem, built of the finest wood and stone, is the fascinating chapel of the Scottish Order of the Thistle, to which 16 noble knights belong. St Giles is a place of reformation, and where the Church of Scotland was born. Just off the upper Royal Mile is the church and cemetery of Greyfriars, with its many historical and atmospheric tombs. This cemetery became well known due to 2 Irishmen who exhumed newly buried corpses in 1827 in order to sell them to the local anatomical institute. Therefore, it's hardly surprising that the city's ghost tours are so popular, with visits to the cemetery late at night and tales of dirty deeds and deadly goings-on. In the church itself, in the centre of the site, there is now no sign of the devastating gunpowder explosion and fire that once took place here. The Greyfriars Bobby attained much celebrity, a loyal Skye Terrier who, following the funeral of his master, guarded the grave for 14 years before he too finally passed away. The Royal Mile continues. Edinburgh's historic tourist route and also its oldest street. Next, the former home of John Knox. It was here that the famous reformer resided and led debates on questions of faith with Mary, Queen of Scots. He was a highly convincing speaker and even complained of the inappropriate moral conduct of the Queen. The road narrows and ends at the Palace of Holyrood House. The palace is the official Scottish residence of the British Queen and was originally just an extension of the eponymous abbey. James IV initiated its construction in 1498. It was subsequently extended. In a depression between Castle Hill and Newtown, there was once a small lake, which later became a cesspit. Where formerly Nor Loch, the cesspit, once gave off its odours in 1876, a park was created. A broad boulevard called the Mound divides the western and eastern sections of the gardens. The East Princes Street gardens are smaller, but just as popular. A green paradise with large trees and well-manicured lawns, and the Sir Walter Scott Monument. At the end of Princes Street, the Balmoral Hotel. This city of poets and culture is one of the oldest urban regions in Europe and home of the Scottish nation.